Article breaking it down. U.S. government backs Libyan al-Qaeda while hyping terror attacks inside the United States. And that's really the biggest news, is they're saying, look for Gaddafi to strike. It would serve the globalists to stage terror attacks now. I'd say we're in prime danger of it happening. Not 100%. They're gauging right now to stage terror attacks, then blame it on Gaddafi, use that as a pretext to launch the amphibious invasion with the Marine Corps and NATO UN-backed invasion ships right off the coast of Tripoli right now, and they get to then crack down on the American people and take more liberties. In Yemen, in Bahrain, those are Western allies. They're having massive riots, and the military is cracking down on people. In the globalist enemy state, rogue state of Syria, the, quote, protesters are hitting key government buildings and telecommunications infrastructure. And are we going to hear a new UN resolution that an invasion has to now happen in Syria because they're abusing their population? They're abusing the globalist special forces that are attacking and murdering people. Meanwhile, U.S. Army kill team in Afghanistan poses for photos of murdered civilians, including children. This is the type of stuff that's going on. This is the type of stuff that's unfolding. Will we be invaded? Undoubtedly someday when the Southwest gets lit on fire by the illegal alien Ford Foundation-controlled groups. Yeah, there's been open talk about using a UN stabilization force and using Mexican and Canadian troops in the U.S. during civil insurrection. That's now mainstream news. Ottawa Citizen, Associated Press. They've been planning this a long time. NLEO 9, NLEO 10. FEMA drilling with 14 foreign nations to take over the U.S. Don't think it won't happen here. Don't think this global government precedent isn't being set with the UN last Thursday ordering the West to start the no-fly, which is doublespeak for bombardment and physical ground invasion. This is unbelievable what's going on, but it's part of the stratagem of tension predicted by myself and other experts here years ago. This is the Brzezinski, David Rockefeller global stratagem of destabilization. There is so much to break down here. France is collapsing. France 24 reports. That's what Le Pen is saying. We're going to be going over that as well. Let me shift gears into Fukushima. Here are the headlines. Infowars.com. Japan's nuclear crisis debacle and the depopulation agenda. Fox News is still rolling footage of the plant before it blew up to make you think it's undamaged. Pounding rain fuels radiation fears in Japan. Driving rain on Monday disrupted rescue efforts in Japan and compounded the misery of disaster. Survivors now facing radioactive fallout from the smoldering wreck of the nuclear plant. You mean plants. They're now picking up to 26 times regular doses of radiation in spinach, other food, and water supplies. As far away as Tokyo, 150 miles away. Meanwhile, you've got days and days, over a week of radiation blowing our way with no actual readings coming out. The federal government and UN saying, well, they're above normal, but that's not bad for you. With, again, the background radiation's one thing. It's the individualized fallout particles themselves higher that they're picking up from a distance with the Geiger counters. You breathe that, you get it on your fingers, you rub your eyes. One particle is enough to accelerate your cancer risk massively. But we're seeing the cover-up we saw with Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island. Hey, it's no big deal. In fact, Ann Coulter, Fox News, we actually have these clips. If you think I'm joking, just type in Ann Coulter says radiation good. In fact, folks won't believe that. Pull up the clip. It's from an article Friday. Go to YouTube. Ann Coulter says radiation good for it. It's a short clip. We'll play it later as soon as you find it. Pounding rain fuels radiation fears in Japan. Workers flee Japan nuclear plant as smoke rises yet again today. You're being told by the media, predominantly on the big nightly news, oh, it's cleaned up, problem's getting better. They may have to Chernobyl it and actually cover it with sand and concrete. Yeah, it's smoking and still on fire, but don't worry about it. 600,000 plus spent fuel rods, 6 reactors, 4 of them have blown up. Everything's fine. Workers flee Japan. Nuclear plant as smoke rises, radiation rising. Gray smoke rose from 2 nuclear units today, temporarily stalling critical work to reconnect power lines and restore cooling systems that's to stabilize Japan's radiation-leaking nuclear complex. They dump seawater into all of it that gums up the systems. There's been huge explosions. Don't count on that power getting it back on. I'm just being a realist. Workers are racing to bring the nuclear plant under control, but the process is proceeding in fits and starts, stalled by incidents like the smoke and by the need to work methodically to make sure wiring, pumps, and other machinery can be safely switched on. Our crisis is still going on. Our crisis is with the nuclear plants. We're doing everything we can to bring this to an end. Governor Yuhi Sato of Fukushima Prefecture, where the plant is located, told the more than 1,000 people moved away from the plant into a gymnasium. Don't give up. We know you are suffering. Please get us out of here, yelled a 63-year-old Japanese truck driver. What caused the smoke to billow first from Unit 3 at Fukushima Daiichi plant and later from Unit 2 is still under investigation. Yeah, right. They admit partial meltdowns of 4 of the plants, explosions, 2 reactor cores breached, 600,000 plus fuel rods blown hither and there. Nuclear Safety Agency officials said still in the days since March 11th earthquake, the tsunami racked the plant's cooling system. Both reactors have overheated and seen explosions. 4 of them have. Workers were evacuated from the area to buildings nearby. The radiation levels remain steady, the officials said. That's a nice way to spin higher levels. They're steady. Problems set off by disasters have ranged. The head of the plant said last Friday that it's enough to kill you. Started crying. He couldn't be part of the cover-up anymore. Problems set off from the disasters have ravaged and raged far beyond the devastated northeast coast and wreaked nuclear plant, handing the government what has been called Japan's worst crisis since World War II. Man, I'm exhausted, folks. I know you are, too. Imagine the people in there trying to secure those plants so they don't have total meltdown, which may have even happened. We don't know the truth. Cover-ups are admitted. We just don't know the extent. Imagine them risking their lives just watching this. Just reporting on it is exhausting. U.S. makes potassium iodine available in Japan. Now we know why the government's been hoarding it, because they're shipping it to Japan. Makes sense. Taiwan Japanese restaurant offers radiation checks for diners. Japanese government admits potassium iodine pills should have been distributed earlier. It's always something good to have in your medicine cabinet. Japan radiation release long-term problem, France's ASN says. The release of radiation from the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant will be a problem for Japan to years to come. What about us directly in the line of the fallout? According to French nuclear watchdog, we are at the beginning of the post-accident phase. André-Claude Lacoste, head of the Paris-based nuclear watchdog group, said at a press conference in Paris today, Japan will have to deal with the consequence of this accident. Japan will have to deal with the consequences of this accident for decades. Radioactive contamination, which has been significant, could spread as far as 100 kilometers around the site, he said, or already has, said Japan's chief cabinet secretary. And they're saying radiation levels, 26 times normal levels, found on spinach and in the water and other food, is safe. Tell that to folks that get cancer. Jack in Japan, what can you tell us, Jack?
Well, basically, Alex, the first thing I've got to let you know, I'm not sure, I haven't heard you report on this yet. If you have in today's episode, I apologize. But the first thing I want to let you know is that in our drinking water, we've now got dangerous levels of radioactive iodine-131 and cesium-137 in the prefectures of Fukushima, Ibaraki, Gunma, Tochigi, and in diminished levels, but even in Tokyo.
Yes, sir. We did report that last night and today, but I should have reported it more. In fact, we'll put on screen, just search the term radioactive iodine found in Japanese drinking water and food, as well as some other isotopes. In one prefecture, 26 times safe levels.
That's correct. That's correct. And I got a message for Ann Coulter. If she thinks radiation is so nutritious, then I'll either pay for her airfare to come out here, or I'll brew up a pot of coffee with my cesium-137 water, and I'll ship it to her.
Well, that's a good point to make. Alex. We should publicly challenge Ann Coulter. In fact, I'm publicly saying that I will pay for her a first-class ticket to Tokyo from wherever she lives. In fact, I want to get Watson or Aaron Dykes or Kurt. I want to put the challenge out at Infowars.com to Ann Coulter right now that I will pay for her a first-class ticket, room and board, to go to Fukushima, and I'm sure they'll let her tour the reactors themselves. If it's so good, I think she should go drink water directly from the reactor cores.
Oh, and Alex, I will drive her up there personally. I was disgusted when I heard those comments. I swear to goodness. And one more note of concern. You are correct. The work at the reactors was suspended at 3:55 local time today due to fires in the reactor cores. And one of the reactors is the number 3 reactor. That's the dangerous MOX reactor. And according to my research, we've got something on the order of 1,760 tons of live and spent fuel on site. And you compare that to Chernobyl with 180 tons, and this thing is pretty serious, if you ask me.
Tell you what, stay there, Jack. Your intel is absolutely on target from all our research. I want to get more from you on the other side than Mark, Marshall, Tim, Ben, and others. I'm Alex Jones. This is the Genesis Network, GCNlive.com. There is no doubt that there's an ongoing cover-up about the disaster in Japan. They're using the new war as a distraction. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Dr. David Berry has provided excellent advice for all those interested in practical economics and sound money. It's certainly worth reading.
That's what Congressman Ron Paul said about Cha-Ching Wisdom, 123 Practical Universal Truths About Money, the new book by Dr. David Berry.
The cool part of this book, certainly it'll speak to you personally, your life, your lifestyle, your money, your investments, but it also can be generalized into the nation, what's going on as a nation. We do these same things personally that we do as a nation.
Dr. Berry's book, Cha-Ching Wisdom, presents many facets of your relationship with the once almighty dollar and how current national and international politics affect your daily life.
Some of the other things are about that. They're not just economic, they're philosophical. There's psychology involved in this book. There's philosophy involved in this book.
Read Cha-Ching Wisdom by Dr. David Berry, only $9.95, available at chachingwisdom.com. That's CHACHING wisdom.com. chachingwisdom.com.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item.